Michelle Branch rose to prominence in the 2000s, representing a different kind of teen pop, one where she was front and center as a songwriter. Her story is nothing less than a journey of evolution and resilience. Michelle was one of those kids who always wanted to be a singer. She loved music from her childhood days. She used to write out her thoughts as songs. Michelle comes from a very humble background. Her parents didn't have the resources to help her dreams right away. Michelle's dad was a plumbing contractor and her mom a restaurant manager. She bickered to them for many years to get her a guitar. On her 14th birthday, they got her a guitar. As soon as she got hands on her first guitar, Michelle started learning chords on her own. As far as she can remember, Michelle has always been singing in her family parties in her backyard at her Catholic school talent shows. She was always excited to sing and perform. Falling in love with music and her guitar, Michelle told her parents that she wants to perform on a real stage. Her dad tried to get her to perform when she was 14 years old in a talent show. However, she was put up in the kids stage because of her age, but when she was voice checking for that performance, the organizers themselves put her with the adult performances as they were impressed with her singing. This event had a profound impact on the artist in her. She started performing in house parties, store openings, school lunches, festivals, and so on and so forth. Michelle desperately wanted to showcase her songs to the world. The clarity she had at that age made her parents realize that this girl was meant for something big. Meeting the famous music producer Jeff Robhan was instrumental in Michelle's music career. Her demo tape landed with him. To her surprise and delight, he called her back after a few weeks. Jeff talked with Michelle and her parents. With a talent like hers, Jeff could not resist but to help her create her first independent album, Broken Bracelet, which had 11 songs. Jeff was very happy with the output, and he assured that he would show around the album to his contacts to seek more opportunities for her. After that, Michelle was invited to open for the band Hanson. Opening for the band helped Michelle reach more of an audience. In hindsight, Michelle's life looks like an orchestrated story, because things really happened one by one like a chain reaction. The day she performed for the band Hanson, a Maverick Records representative came up to her and offered her a deal at only 17 years old. Madonna was the co-founder and co-owner of Maverick Records. It was a big deal to be associated with Maverick. They had other artists like Alanis Morissette just a few years prior. Maverick Records facilitated everything for Michelle to create an album. She met many artists and found her style match with John Shanks, who was already an established musician, songwriter, and producer. Michelle has talked about the experience, that they immediately hit it off and finished writing a song within hours of meeting. In the next 35 days, they worked together to finish the whole album, which was The Spirit Room, released in 2001. The single Everywhere from this album became a big hit, a quintessential 2000 song played in so many coming-of-age movies. The album yielded further hit singles such as All You Wanted and Goodbye to You. The album was a success and remains Michelle's most successful release, selling over 2 million copies. It established her as a face within teen pop, which paved the way for her collaboration with Carlos Santana. The Game of Love with Santana was released in 2002. Michelle went on to win the Grammy for this record. In her personal life, Michelle was missing her parents and maturing beyond her age. She was recording, traveling, and doing meetings all alone. She has said that this helped her evolve very early and understand the world, but at the same time, her parents missed most of her winning moments, which was difficult for her and them. Maverick Records went ahead to create one more album with her, The Hotel Paper, which was released in 2003. This album features a darker tone than her debut album, and had moderate hits such as Are You Happy Now and Breathe. She began experiencing label troubles due to her label having a lot of internal switch-ups, and label heads constantly being fired and replaced. This led her to be shelved for a few years. Things also took a turn in Michelle's private life. She got married in 2005. That same year she had her first child when she was 22 years old. Michelle took a break from mainstream music and started to experiment in country in the next coming years. She shifted to Nashville and had her time there for a while. By the end of 2005, she was back again in the pop music industry, warming up for her next big collab. She collaborated with Jessica Harp, who kind of inspired her to be creative and active again. They made a musical duo called The Wreckers, which took on a country pop direction, eventually separating and pursuing their own careers. Michelle has talked about the West Coast album, which was supposed to be released around 2008. This was a much awaited release for Michelle, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Reprise Records, who were producing the album, backed out on the release many times. Finally, in 2012, it was officially cancelled. There was no real confirmation on the reason behind the cancellation, but there were major disagreements with the changing management teams of Reprise Records. This caused delays and creative frustration for Michelle. Creative differences are common in the entertainment industry, where the artists and the companies have to constantly weigh between the art and the business of it. And Michelle experienced a fair amount of that. Branch recalled to Elle that she was told at various points in her career by various people at her label to be more like Avril Lavigne, Taylor Swift, or Katy Perry. At one point, they even advised her to do an EDM album. "This is not who I am," Branch said. "If I put out the kind of music you want me to put out, everyone will see it for exactly what it is." She tried to get out of her contract, but the label was reluctant to let her go. Eventually, a head of the label heard her out, and they dropped her. This also coincided with a divorce in Michelle's personal life. Michelle signed her next deal with the label Verve. In 2017, Michelle's fourth album, Hopeless Romantic, was released. Michelle worked with Patrick Carney during the making of this album. Yes, Patrick Carney of the Black Keys. Eventually they fell in love and had their first son in 2018. Michelle got married to Patrick in 2019. Many times Michelle has talked about how her family and personal relations are the most important thing in her life, especially after her first child. Michelle felt like her life had changed entirely and for good. While Michelle and Patrick Carney built a family together, their relationship went through some very public struggles. In 2022, Michelle alleged she found out that her husband was cheating on her, which she publicly tweeted. The next day, she was arrested for domestic assault, where she was accused of slapping Carney. Michelle admitted this in an interview, and she said that she regrets it and the couple is going through therapy, and they desperately want to make things work. The couple, who had announced a separation, is back together again. Michelle's fifth album was released in 2022, The Trouble with Fever. This is her latest album as of now. Michelle Branch started her music journey when she was just a teenager. By her own reports, she could never enjoy the success in her early days because she was focused on her next goals. It was a never-ending pursuit. Only in recent years has the artist found the grace to appreciate everything she's done. She has mentioned many times the struggles she faced in a male-dominated industry. When she started out, she had to agree to certain decisions because of the power dynamics in her young age. As undermentioned as she is nowadays, she, along with people such as Avril Lavigne, helped set the path for people like Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, Hayley Williams, these young women that would come after them that had a sharp focus on songwriting and presenting themselves as a songwriter first. Unfortunately, her label trouble slowed her down. However, she appears to be very deeply intact with her music, and not just fame and headlines. She's one of those artists that were definitely impactful, but not as talked about as she could be.